One of the greatest banes of our society is bullying. Bullying is one of the things that has stunted growth of people's creativity, their imagination, by pushing people down who are outside or not the same as many other people, or sometimes just because they're the weaker of the pack. Now, there's a new topic that's sprung up in the recent years that has personally been bothering me to an extent that I feel is a little bit out of hand at this point. Now, the topic is cyberbullying. As we all know, bullying in schools is a very public thing. Everybody knows about it. It happens in almost every single school. However, one of the things that I personally find, and this will be one of the most controversial things that people will hear probably ever out of my mouth, is I find people, certain kinds of people, I may add too, who are bullied, but not bullied to the extent that some people are, and then decide to take their own lives. I feel as if these people are weaker members of our society. Now, don't get me wrong. People will get angry at that sentence, but to me, I find that in the world, I'm a product of bullying. I was bullied. At the same time, I found as I grew a little older, I found myself also doing the same to other people. And I stopped right away because it's a poison that kind of plagues somebody's mind. I got bullied. I wasn't extremely bullied. I wasn't every single day I was getting beat up. But, it happened too frequently. Rumors were spread about me. Nasty things were constantly said, even right next to me. And a few times I was physically assaulted, not severely. I'm not a horrible product of bullying. But I will say this. I was strong enough through my life to be able to emerge from this and grow on myself and become an overall better person. Now, this isn't about me, but we're talking about all these other people who are 10 years old, 12 years old, 16, people who are going to the extent to take their own lives. And to me, I find this to be almost an act of selfishness. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people. I have a bunch of gay friends who are, even to this day, they're like 20, 25 years old. They're still attacked over the phone, sometimes physically. It happens all the time. But you see them and they walk around and they hold their heads up high. They are stronger human beings. They can take more pain and torture and they can emerge stronger from it. And when people go as far as to say with the cyberbullying issue, people are bullying me online. They're not even in my face. They're not doing things. They're just talking about me. They're saying bad things about me. And somebody goes to the extent to take their own life because bad things are being said about you. Nothing is happening from this. Bad things are being said. There are the faux pas that say somebody may be talking behind my back and calling me a gay or a lesbian or something like that, or they're saying that I did things that are not true. And people may read that online and then say, "Oh, I don't want to talk to that person because that may be true." Now, and the idea is that people who are usually bullied are the weaker subjects, and it's kind of like, in a sense, twisting on its own fate to say that a person cannot become stronger through being just talked about behind their back. And some people go as far as to, kill themselves, and it's ridiculous. I find that I was talked about, all this stuff like this happened. I'm a human being. I'm a strong human being. And I emerged from this victorious. And certainly I was definitely outcasted by the society or the cliques in my school, but you don't see me here complaining about this, ever going as far as to ever be. And there's also other factors. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the only person, not the only thing is like just off of one factor. Myself, I would go to school, get bullied. I'd come home and I'd be almost in a verbally abusive house. Not always directed towards me, but and when I came home, my family was full of dysfunction. People yelling at each other, arguments happening all the time, being told to do things that are a little bit not to my style. There's always factors involved, and there's always levels. And I understand when some people who maybe just overweight, too skinny, too weird for other people, maybe gay. And these people who are bullied to the extent that they just can't handle it anymore. There's too much going on, and they just say, I can't take it anymore. There's no way out. I'm in an abusive home. I'm in an abusive society. I'm in an abusive school. I can't take it anymore. I just want to leave it. And I understand that. Those are the people who I have compassion for. But when the word cyberbullying comes up, I have nothing but unrelenting disdain for people who take their lives when they're just talked about behind their back. And it's just, I find it to be almost a sign of weakness in people when you say, I can't handle what other people say about me. And I understand that people will get pissed at this, but this is my personal belief and you can't change it. But I am a strong person. You're a strong person, probably, if you're watching this. Are you going to really get upset over what people say? And one of the best things is there was a comedian, Steve Hughes, who talked about this. He was talking about jokes and how they offend people. He says, nothing happens when you get offended. You just feel offended. I mean, nothing changes. It's not like I was offended and then the next day I woke up, I was sick, I had the flu. Nothing happens. I was offended, I woke up the next day, all of a sudden my toes were gone. No, that doesn't happen. You just have the emotion of feeling offended. It may dampen on your spirits, and it may make you feel a little bad, but ultimately you gotta grow from this. And I find that it's becoming this issue that people are publicizing and saying they're basically nitpicking out the topics of people who go as far as to kill themselves because somebody's just talking about them behind their back. And it's ridiculous. I say the world needs to stop stemming this at an issue and saying, oh, cyberbullying is such a huge issue. No, bullying is the issue. Cyberbullying is a product of bullying. And I mean, people who, I just say, those people who are weak, they need to come to the light and say, hey, I need to get help. If this is going on in front of me or even in my social life, I need to get help with this. But if I'm just getting talked about behind my back or stupid things of that nature, and this is going to lead me to do something as radical as taking their own life, then this is an issue that, I mean, people need to address rather than just stand back and let it happen and then say, oh, this is going to be easier. It's just my personal belief, and I mean, I hope people can understand what I'm saying here, because I'm 100% liberal on most of my political views, but when the word cyberbullying comes up, I become this hateful person because I don't believe it. I'm a product of bullying. How can somebody say, I can't take this anymore, people are talking about me, so I'm going to end it?